today we've got something pretty interesting. Probably already tell from the box, we've got a Wampler Germanium Tumnus pedal. There's the pedal. First impressions of it, love the finish. All the iodinized knobs, something like that. The gray, it's a sort of speckled gray. They're calling like an alien silver. Pretty cool. The graphics are great. They look very much like the gold Tumnus graphics, except it's got sort of in red germanium above the Tumnus. Same footprint. One thing I wish they did, and I know it might be hard for something with this narrow thumbprint or a footprint, is if they put the jacks on the top, because I mean you're still going to put, you know, your standard size jack cables. You're going to put those in, and then those are kind of going to eat up the size of a standard like pedal width. But you know, that aside, it's not really about that. What this pedal really is about is the idea that, you know, this pedal is even closer, if not identical, to the Klon Centaur. So we're going to be testing that out today, briefly. It's the instruction pamphlet. The gain set to 9 o'clock. You have a beautiful, smooth, overdriven boost. Dial it up to 12 and suddenly it growls like thunder. Take it all the way around to maximum for that brutal yet creamy, overdriven tone that this circuit is famous for. All right, so they've given us a couple leads here, so why don't we just plug this up, dial in some tones, and see what we get. All right, we're just gonna run through a few tones with the Tumnus. We're gonna be playing through a Supro Amulet amp. Start with our clean tone. All right, so for me anyway, the way I like to use Klon Clones, and I have had some experience with these. In the past I've had the Soul Food, I've had the RYRA, Klon Clone, I've tried a few of the Archer pedals, I've had a Tone Monk Phoenix pedal, so I've had my fair share of Klon Clones. So like I said, the way I like to use them, as I've used them in the past, in one of 4 different settings. The first setting being sort of as a clean boost. The next setting, a light breakup. The third setting, a crunch. And the fourth setting, a smooth sort of distortion lead tone. So for the first set, here's what it sounds like. But that's the clean, boosted sort of tone I would go for. Again, those settings, I have the gain knob at about 9 o'clock, the volume also at about 9, just for the room really. And the treble knob I have set to about 3. Love the treble knob because, you know, depending on what kind of guitar you're using, you could always kind of dial in that clean, or I should say those high-end frequencies with the treble knob. For me, with Les Pauls anyway, or humbucker style pickups, I like to dial the treble knob at about 3. For a Telecaster or like a Strat, I might dial it to about noon or less, depending on, you know, context. The next setting, example or scenario would be to create like a light, airy kind of breakup. So for that, again, very minimal sort of tweaking to the pedal. I would turn my gain knob up to about noon. I'd keep the volume wherever I wanted it, depending on the context in the room. And the treble knob, like I said, I like to keep that around the same 3 o'clock. So here's what that would sound like. So you can hear as I play chord tones and chords, you can hear that really light, delicate breakup. And then as I play lead lines, you can start to hear a little bit of compression and sustain. Yeah, it's a great setting for something, something light and airy. Here's what that sounds like with the neck pickup. So that's sort of approaching the kind of crunch territory, especially with the neck pickup. And what's also great about that setting is that it's so touch sensitive. The lighter you play, the less breakup you get. The harder you play, just the more hair kind of creeps into your chords and your lead lines. All right, so that was the second setting. The third setting I would go for would be a crunch setting. So for that, very simply, with the way I have all this set up, I just turn the gain knob up to 3 o'clock position. So here's what that sounds like. I'm on the bridge pickup. If I go over to the neck pickup, turn the tone knob a little bit, it gets even smoother, even more sustaining. The last setting I'd go for would be sort of like a lead, smooth distortion. And that's basically the gain knob for me, like just cranked all the way up. We can roll off some tone. It'll give us sort of a sweeping, smooth kind of lead. Starts to enter that sort of emo rock kind of territory, 90s, early 2000s kind of grungy, heavy distortion kind of tone. All right, so there you have it. We've run through about 4 different settings with the Wampler Tumnus Germanium. My general thoughts on it, it's very transparent. It definitely lets the underlying tones of your amp kind of shine through. Of all the different Klon Clones I've owned, this is certainly, I gotta say, I'm thoroughly impressed with it. It's certainly my favorite in the past. It's a fantastic amp. It does have that mid quality that's in the territory of the, the Klon sound. This just has a bit more transparency to it. I could definitely hear that. All right, so that's it for now. Like and subscribe, check out our content. We'll see you next time. Peace.